This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
No Gov, no Eagles. I've been saying this for years. Every time Jeremy McGovern's on the sidelines, guess what? Can't win a game.
Shut up shop, Shaun.
To be fair, they did pretty well last Sunday.
13 points was the margin in the end.
I was there and they played pretty well, and it was a touching tribute to Simo as well.
Yeah, it was nice. The boys responded obviously after a poor week the week before, and it was good. It was good to see them respond for the fans, for the club. There's a lot of reasons. So as much as we lost, we played a lot better footy.
During that, because you're not playing, do you get dressed in your
Civvies, or your uniform?
Yeah, and where do you sit?
This one I actually set up in the box because Simo had a box for his last game, so
nice.
Sat up there. But normally you wear your normal attire of West Coast attire.
Even though you're injured.
Yeah, you got to wear it.
Yeah,
because
you got to fly the flag, mate.
Yeah,
okay. Support the boys.
You know what was interesting about the game was that I thought there was a lot of forward handballs and overlap running, more so than I'd seen in recent weeks. I don't know if Jared had said to the team, okay, we're just going to throw it around a bit more, just play a bit loosely in terms of expressing yourself on the field. There was a bit of that. I mean, the centre bounce stuff was absolutely horrendous until the last quarter where you dominated. But the ball movement just seemed to be a bit, what's the right word? Free.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it did look a bit free at times for sure. We looked like we had a few different modes of moving the ball, but I wasn't in all the meetings.
He was on
the
the Nullarbor, remember?
But from all the meetings, everything I gathered, it actually wasn't even spoken about. It was a bit more about the contest stuff and team defence. So if you turn the ball over in good spots of the ground, it makes it easier for you to offensively get your game going. So I felt like we did that pretty well. So then it probably looked like our ball movement was a lot better. But it was only a little week and a little sample of it. Hopefully we can continue it for the rest of the year.
It's going to be tough, though. This weekend, everyone's not playing. You're out, Yoey's out.
Jake Waterman's out.
Yeah.
Doug's is out.
Yeah, we've been hit a little bit on the injury front, but at the same time, it's opportunity for these young boys and to showcase what they can do. So as much as we love everyone out there, of course, I don't think any of them are too serious, so we should hopefully all be back in the next couple of weeks. So get everyone back on the park and we just keep moving forward.
Do you enjoy Jared Schofield's style of coaching?
Yeah, I do. I've always liked Scully. Yeah. He's been at the club for a couple of years now, and it's good that he's got the opportunity to obviously take the senior role for a few weeks. But I've always loved Scully. He actually coached me back in the day when I was at Claremont.
Right.
He wasn't my head coach, but he was one of the line coaches, midfield coach.
Before he took over Subi?
Yeah, back way back.
Yeah, right.
It was 2012.
Dawn of time.
Probably.
Oh, wow.
So, I sort of knew Scully from then, and then obviously his prowess in waffle footy and then went to Port. So, I think all the boys responded pretty well.
And all of the names that have been thrown up for the head coach position, we've heard a fair few of them.
Yeah.
Sean's really gunning for Daisy Pearce.
Sean, you would have put your hand up, mate.
I have, yeah.
Is there any names that have been thrown up that you've gone, that's exciting, or are you just exciting for any opportunity?
Yeah, you can't really get caught up in it because it's not my decision or the players. Like, it's the club's decision. So there's obviously players that get thrown up, or not players, past players or past coaches or whatever get thrown up, and you go, that'd be great. But there's so many of them. Like I think it's just for us to leave it up to the club to make sure they make the right decision on who it is, and that it fits the group and the dynamic and the way we're moving. So you can't really get caught up too much in it, to be honest.
Gov, do you expect that they would have a conversation with you at some stage saying this is the last two maybe, or you might be involved at any stage? And I'm not talking about just you, but with a couple of senior players.
Possibly. It won't be a formal... Yeah. It wouldn't be a formal thing.
And you've never been in this situation before, so you don't really know, do you?
I was with Whoosh, but I was young. You
weren't a senior player,
kid. But I'm sure it's just a general conversation of like, what do you think of such and such? But not really. The players and everyone else involved sort of leave that up to the key stakeholders to make those decisions.
Can I ask you another thing about the game at the moment? We've been talking about the tackling situation all week.
Yeah.
We've seen players come out. Is it confusing?
Yeah.
Especially when they get suspended, then get unsuspended on appeal. It's like, okay, now we've got even less idea what's going on.
Because Andrew Dillon was over here during the week. He said, mate, last year there was 100 people cited. I'm making up numbers here, but it was only... so far this year, there's been 11 suspensions possibly versus so many last year. So clearly the guys know what's going on.
I don't know. I don't know if we know what's going on. I think we just try and adapt and then something else pops up. Yeah. And then it's a new. I don't know. How do you confidently approach the ball then, because you don't know what the ramifications are after doing something that you've done 1,000 times before? Yeah, it makes it very hard to teach and as a player to know exactly what to do in those situations now, because there's not a whole lot of clarity on exactly. Yeah. It's pretty much if you tackle them and you hurt them.
Second decisions as well is
the way I'm looking at it. If you tackle them and you hurt them, you're going to. Doesn't matter how good your tackle is. Yeah. If you actually hurt them, you're in a bit of trouble. That's what it sort of looks like now.
So shouldn't we all be acting like we're hurt more?
Well, you can't do that either.
I know, but people do, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. Forget a free kick.
So is there going to be a bit of home and away action on the field?
Well, there's been a few cited for staging,
blood, sand, water.
Yeah, there's been a couple cited for staging.
People have been cited for staging, Nathan. So, you can't do that either.
Not many, though. You have got to put a bit of GST on to sell it. Do you think that the players maybe in the future they sign a waiver to say that they're playing a physical sport, they're playing contact sport, therefore if this occurs,
Yeah, well, ideally, if we had an insurance that covered us,
yes,
I think that would just change a lot of things. Or, the way it looks is they're trying to just stamp absolutely everything out. We don't want any head injury, which I think's unrealistic in our sport. So I feel like, me personally as a player, have had a bit of backing to know that if something did happen, it's okay. I can be looked after in the right way of medically, financially, all the other little decisions around it. I feel like players would be a bit more inclined to be, let's just let it go. But at this stage, it's obviously ending people's careers.
Yes.
Some people are coming out with nothing, except for injuries. Yeah. Others, might be getting some sort of financial aid or medical aid and stuff for their future, which I think should be, personally, I feel like that should be the focus, is to look after people if that happens. Especially if it's impacting your ability to work in other fields after football. Yeah, I feel like just focus on that.
And we've seen that with Shep, for sure, in that he has really struggled.
Yeah, well, that's sort of, I guess, as a player, if you've just got to, you're going to be looked after and everything's going to be okay if those things do happen, then it just gives you a bit of peace of mind when you're playing. But it'll figure itself out, hopefully, and hopefully
we're kind of a transitional stage now.
And the AFL are trying to do the right thing. You can understand what they're trying to do, but at the moment it just seems confusing.
Are you worried about what's going to be happening with your body when you get older after football?
I'm trying not to think about it.
You should. Because Shaun, probably every couple of days, he discovers something new. New and exciting journey.
I mean, it's going to be less pressure on your ribs, hopefully, once you stop playing football. Yeah, because your ribs have been a real problem for you.
So. Yeah, they have, unfortunately.
Do you go really hard or your ribs really soft? What is it?
Probably, the Wheat Bix ribs is what I'm calling it.
There's always people sticking their knees in them, isn't there?
And I put myself in terrible situations, so when you hit them that much...
Body on the line.
Yeah, but... I probably need to change that.
Yeah. But you're breaking ribs, you're spitting teeth into your hands, you know what I mean? Like, you are playing.
He's got a lot of injuries that don't stop him.
I'm just trying. I'm just trying to play, and, it's just what... I don't think it's different. I think that's just the expectation that I've grown up with. I've been taught my whole life of playing football that you just have a crack
can't take a
as much
backward
as
step.
you can. It's just the way that you've been taught and the way that I grew up with my coaches and
your own mentality.
You mentioned it earlier on, Gov. I won't say what you've got an issue with, but you've got an issue with something and then you're getting it looked at with the surgeon, and they're saying basically, turn up tomorrow and we'll operate and you'll be out for a period of time. And the first answer for you is, well, we can do it later, basically. And we'll just keep playing.
Oh, so it hurts like hell and it needs to be addressed now, but I want to the game's a priority.
There's only a few more games left.
Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, there's a lot of players. This time of the year, there'd be half a dozen to a dozen players on each list that have got stuff ready to go for
lingering
next
stuff.
year.
Don't need any surgery in the week after the footy season finishes, because it's taken up with footballers getting all their stuff done.
But then what do you do? Is it straight away at the end of the season where you just want to go on holidays? Do you get it done? When do you get it done?
Yeah, well, it all depends on situations, finals.
What someone has to get done.
But sooner the better, Nathan.
What you got to do.
Yeah.
So, as soon as possible so you can get back for pre-season.
Remember, Alex Silvani went on a holiday to Italy on crutches because he had ankle surgery. Yeah.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
He's back, everyone. Slim Shady.
Looking better than ever.
How are you, Shaun?
Good, guys. How are we going?
Good. Hey, we're just talking off air. Now we'll have this conversation about you being concussed. I was wondering if you were actually concussed, because I know with they put you in a protocols, not necessarily, maybe afterwards you go, okay, I could play next week, but the rules and regulations say that you have to sit out for a game or so. But it affected you straight away.
Yeah, I clipped Jono's hip on the way down and couldn't remember about 35, 40 seconds.
And you were out cold for part of that?
About 10 seconds I was out, and apparently I stood up and JT was yelling at me saying, get in the ruck. And,
Josh Tracy.
And I was just, I wasn't responding.
And you went, what?
Well,
I'm a butterfly.
Imagine that, suddenly coming to, and then there's a game of AFL happening.
Yeah, that's the first thing I remembered. I was like, why aren't I in the ruck? There's a contest.
I remember one time.
We're laughing, but it's full on. It is full on.
I was in the showers once with Heath Black. He'd come off the game with at the MCG, and he was concussed. And apparently he was concussed. Anyway, he kept asking me the score and how we did when we're having a shower. And in the end, I just had to turn everything off and walk away from him because he was annoying me so much. Did you know you were repeating stuff or asking questions?
I got so I played the rest of the half out. Then got to the concussion protocol with the doc. And I just kept saying, I was like, just get me to the mids meeting. Like I said it 15 times. And I was just like, get me to the mids meeting. And he's just like, mate, you're done.
You're not invited.
Yeah.
Just by asking that many times, you're out.
Meeting?
It's the midfield meeting.
Oh.
But so his section with
I thought you had a meeting
coach.
to get to.
Yeah.
He was like, he looked at me and he was like, what happened? And I tried to make something up that I hit someone's knee or it was in a ruck contest. So he's like, nah, you're out.
So he knew what had happened to you and you couldn't tell him.
Yeah, I couldn't tell him what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got the video set up straight away, which they need to look at to then make an assessment.
Hey, is there a number of times you get hit on the head that they're monitoring?
It's a really good question, and this is a good one.
What is it?
So they view every contest that you hit your ground, and if you lie on the ground for extended a time, I think it's 5 seconds, they'll review that. And then there's also an independent doctor who sits in with the AFL and they review that too. And if they think there's a concussion protocol, they'll tell our docs to get him off and sit in the concussion protocol.
Which they've done with other players,
if you've been hit a couple of times or missed games over a number of years from concussion, do they
tally up?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because different people respond differently to that. So
each is different. Like mine, I was really not great early.
When you say not great, so headaches.
Yeah, and just not yourself. You
really?
You just can't concentrate really well.
How long does that go for?
I was about, when was it? End of the day off, which was about 4 days after. I was still
still feeling the effects.
And so that's sort of why Brad Shepard's going down the legal.
He's a more long term.
But Brad's felt that since.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
So
inability to concentrate, especially.
They're doing that now. Like if that's their everyday life, I was getting really frustrated. I was just like, I just want to feel
better. And you
better.
had it for 4 days.
So,
there used to be a case where if you weren't back playing, then everyone would suggest you're weak.
Yes.
And I remember a guy missing a number of years, and I'm sure that he is part of the class action, and he might have already copped pay out. And that's what he was viewed like, Nathan. Imagine that now.
Yeah,
so
the attitude has changed, thankfully. Yeah.
Like I failed there's a few tests and I failed the card one a few times. And they were just like, well, you can't do anything. Like, you can't train until we pass.
Yes.
It's just like, no.
Tell us about the card game.
So there's it's on the computer.
Snap?
No.
What is it?
It's on the computer and there's 4 sections. It's like red or white, red or black. You got to say yes or no on the computer. And then it's, have you seen this card before? That's a tough one. You see 40 cards and you're like, have I seen it?
So it's kind of like a memory game.
Flash. You have to go, was this card in that?
Yeah, and I was like, I play cards. I've seen all of them before.
Can't do that with all my wits about me.
And then there's reaction time. Has it turned over? And then it's, is this the same card as the last one? So it goes for 20 minutes. Yeah. And you got to concentrate pretty. Yeah, have you seen this card before? Hurts. I struggle with that when I'm not concussed, let alone when I am.
Have you seen this card?
It'll be good to have you back. Caleb Sarong said during the week for the Starlight game that is this weekend that you're a real barometer for the team.
Oh,
he had nice things
nice
to say about Alex Pearce, but he was really concentrating on you.
That's nice. Thanks, Seba. I'll tell him for thank you at training.
Do you tell everyone how important you are to the team?
No,
You tell us.
No. It was a pretty frustrating.
You walked in today and you said the Dockers return.
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly what I said.
They can't do without me. Is what he said. He said, "Did you see what happened on the weekend? I wasn't there." That's what he said.
Join the dots.
It's pretty full on.
Tell us what you know about the flight back from home. Was it uncomfortable? The players just don't really care too much.
They don't care. Half the boys are pretty cooked, sleeping. But yeah, when I got told that about, I think it was 45 minutes in, the announcement came around that they couldn't go to the toilet anymore.
Were there any women on the flight? Do you know?
Yeah, there was.
There were.
Yep. So
what did they do?
no one went to the toilet.
Just
so.
cross their legs and hope for the best.
I suppose so, because you know what? You don't like, especially for the women. I'm guessing they'd be slightly embarrassed to know that you'd walk out of the toilet and everyone knows that you just had your ass up on the sink.
But also, there's stuff above the sink. It's not even physically possible. I don't think.
You got the tap poking in your back.
What do you do? Do you lean into it or?
It's not good. Is there like a polite bucket that they were allowed to use?
Hey, Shaun, let's talk about your relationship with the rain right now. Is it upsetting you?
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, the rain, but that's all right.
What's going on? Why is it annoying you?
Oh, the tradies don't work when it's rain.
Okay, so this is your massive renovation you're having done at your house.
Massive, yeah.
Even
Well,
you
you're
got
putting
roof
another
cover?
floor,
Yeah,
another story on. That's a massive renovation.
Yeah, I know.
It's gotta fit
It is
you
a big
in.
reno.
Yeah.
Hey, they don't miss you when you're in a reno. Like if you're to build at the house that you're building, it would almost be cheaper than doing a reno.
Yes,
Exactly,
and attaching it to especially to an old house.
But what you get is that beautiful hybrid of
No,
old and new.
old slash new,
It's going to look absolutely amazing. Shaun just showed me the plans, and I just said, "Oh my god, I cannot wait for you to be living that life." And that's the thing; you want to start living that life, but they keep moving it away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's one of those houses where I feel like he should wear a robe.
A smoking jacket.
You know,
perhaps,
you know when you've really made it, and
Yes.
you can put on your house coat.
Do you have a billiards room?
Sean obviously has got the older facade and the character of East Fremantle, but is it are we saying the new part where?
Yeah, the old part
so
of the
it's
front,
old
and then
and then
there's
new.
this beautiful new thing. His bedroom's upstairs. It's amazing. There's the swing in the bedroom's looks like it's really
Okay,
sturdy.
there's a swing. is
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Here we
And the
go.
mirrored ceiling is
What's-
something that I wasn't expecting.
What's the load rating on that
But
swing?
agree with it.
Oh, there is
Can we talk
low
about
bearing.
footy? Let's talk about footy.
Sean just turned around and looked at the door. Help me.
Hey, Darcy, this game against Melbourne's going to be a cracker because last time you absolutely smoked them over at
Yeah.
Alice Springs, but they've hit some really good form. And there's two things to them that they're doing really well. They've got a smaller forward line, and everyone's chipping in, and secondly, their midfield is starting to get going.
Yeah, exactly. I think they started the year really well, and then they had a down patch, which I think most teams have had a down patch for a little bit, and they've won 3 out of the last 4 and probably should have been 4 out of the last 4. They're really tough, contested brand. They hunt the footy, they get a lot of numbers in, and play a really strong brand of footy.
Okay, now back to the house. We're just trying to make you feel comfortable, and then we'll get you.
What happens in that pit?
Hey, we've got a double pass to check out the Freo Dockers take on Melbourne this Sunday. Let's hear it for the Purple Army from the Bank West. Best seats in the house.
It is a Purple Haze game too, so
Very
get involved.
important, isn't it?
It
Wear your
is.
violet.
It is a starlight game. We had a few children come down who are in the hospital, and yeah, it's something that we get really behind, and it's really exciting.
It's a great
Certainly
cause.
is. 13 24 10, caller number 4, which is whose number? Harry.
Sean Darcy.
That's right, Harry pressing the button. No, and Sean Darcy.
Thanks, guys.
Nathan just looking, I don't know.
Harry, what number are you?
I did wear
Yeah.
4.
Is
I went straight for the single digit as the tall guy. That's great. In the
My,
other
my volleyball number was 12.
yeah.
12?
Anyway.
Is that a positional thing? No?
What?
Is that a positional thing, or you get to choose your number?
No, I was just always 12.
There you go.
No one asked. But that's what no one cares. So
Good
let's
luck on
move
the
on.
weekend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.